The fighting raged through jungles, across rubber plantations.
While I was in nurses training, the war in Vietnam was a very faraway place. During my training, we received visits from several recruiting officers. They needed to find nurses to fill the slots in Vietnam, in the hospitals in Vietnam. And I thought, well, how bad could Vietnam be for nurses? We worked in the hospital. In 1969, I got a call and found that I had orders for Vietnam. And I remember, my mother being so upset about it and my father saying, June, what did you expect? There's a war and she's in the military. What did you expect? We landed down near Saigon and got ready to disembark from the plane. Off to the side were all the guys who were going to get on the plane I just got off of. They were screaming, crying. They were stripping their clothes off. They were in ecstasy that they were leaving. And that was the first time I became afraid. Surgical intensive care was a very hectic place. There were times they were coming in so fast, nobody was really sure what the name of the patient was. Emergency rooms here in this country never could have prepared us for what we saw. That never leaves you. I made a lot of good friends there. We were sharing life and death together and crying together, trying to survive together. And those are emotions and experiences that tie you together for life. I look at the time in Vietnam and I can't say, oh yeah, this day was bad. They were all bad days. Certainly as a nurse you help people, but I look back on my life and I think, that whole year I had been in Vietnam, how many lives did what I did affect, It's a very good feeling to know that in the end, you feel like you've given something of your life. I can be proud. I think my children can be proud. When I came home was in 1970, so I was 23 years old. You lived a life over there that was totally different from here. I hadn't driven in a year. I hadn't eaten off plates. It was just different. And I spent a lot of time in my room, actually, isolated from the rest of the family. You can't know what it's like. You really don't want to know what it's like. You can never comprehend what it's like. And so why should I waste my time? Done. Didn't really talk about it anymore. Yes, I'd do it again, without doubt, without question. It was, in some ways, the most remarkable year of my life. When you get down to the humanity of war, war is war is war. It's dirty, it's painful, it's scary. There's human lives lost. There's blood. To know those things is never going to change. And that's one thing that's shared by anyone who served in the military. And when somebody says they were in a war, no matter what, we know we're connected.
In 1982, a friend from her church choir invited Marsha to a local chapter meeting of Vietnam Veterans of America. They went to hear about the campaign to erect a statue on the Mall in Washington, D.C., honoring women veterans. But the meeting about the statue made something come alive in Marsha.
That really was the beginning of the road I've sort of followed since then. It was the time when I learned that I was a veteran, that I can have great pride in that, and that there was a lot to do. I joined a group of Vietnam veterans who were extremely proactive, they did whatever needed to be done to move the agenda. And they weren't afraid to stand up against anyone if they thought things should be done for veterans, because for them it was a matter of truth, and it was a matter of justice and fairness, and it was a matter of helping veterans obtain the benefits that they were justly due. And that's how I really got plunged into this new life situation, I guess it is. And it just has driven me down that path ever since the late 80s.
Marsha took a position at the Philadelphia Veterans Multi-Service and Education Center and eventually became its executive director. She founded a 95-bed transitional home for homeless veterans and also founded the Mary E. Walker House, a transitional residence program for homeless women veterans. She served as an advisor to the Department of Veterans Affairs and served on the national board of VVA and is now the organization's vice president. She has given powerful testimony before Congress on military sexual trauma, homelessness, and other veterans issues. And her advocacy and passion were recognized last year by the White House when she was honored as a champion of change.
One of our honorees, Marsha Ford, a former Army nurse in Vietnam, founded a transitional housing residence for homeless vets. She started another program specifically for homeless women veterans. And she says she does it, and these are her words. She says, when I die, I will know that I have spent some of my time here on earth in a very important way, that I was part of something bigger than me. Yeah, we all nod to that.